campus. More on how the school is using the largest contribution in university history.
Right there,
It's International Women's Day, and Kent State put together a panel to celebrate the holiday. More on their discussion later on.
It's pothole season in Ohio, what the city of Kent is doing to ease drivers' bumpy rides.
6 teenagers in Iowa charged with murder. What the police say about the current investigation into a shooting outside of a high school.
This is TV2 News.
Good evening, Kent State and all of Portage County. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday edition of TV2 News. I'm Maddy Haberberger.
And I'm Chris Abreu. It's a historic day for the university as leadership broke ground on construction of the new business building.
Our Nuried Hurtado joins us now with more on the construction of Crawford Hall. Hi, Nuried.
Hi guys, that's right. The Board of Trustees joined Kent State community and different guests today for the groundbreaking ceremony for Crawford Hall. The groundbreaking took place at a heated outdoor tent on front campus near Midway Drive at 2 p.m. The new building will serve as the home for the Ambassador Crawford College of Entrepreneurship and Business. Ambassador Edward Crawford completed the capital campaign to enable the construction of this new building, becoming the largest single gift in the Kent State history with a minimum of $28 million.
Can't tell you how thankful I am that you were able to get me interested and get me down here and get in the room and do it.
For more updates, follow us on social media at KentWired. Reporting for TV2, I'm Nuried Hurtado.
The Kent State COVID Coalition held a protest earlier today advocating for mask requirements. This comes after the university dropped the mask mandate everywhere except when physically in class. The protest was on Blanket Hill near May 4th Memorial, and mass and social distancing were required. Counter-protesters showed up rooting for the university to drop mask requirements.
Students at Kent State and Akron will hold rallies on their campuses tomorrow to protest legislation seeking to ban divisive concepts from being taught in K-12 schools. The bill would prohibit topics of race, including critical race theory, a move that those in opposition of the bill say would whitewash history and dehumanize non-white communities. Student groups, including undergraduate student government and Black United Students, will gather on the K tomorrow at 2 p.m.
The Kent State Board of Trustees approved the establishment of a new Bachelor's of Social Work degree. The decision was made earlier today at the quarterly Board of Trustees meeting. The university says the decision is based off of the high demand of social workers surrounding Kent State's regional campuses. The single program will be offered at Ashtabula, Salem, and Tuscarawas campuses. People can officially start the degree come the fall 2022 semester.
A university search committee has appointed Kent State's newest vice president for enrollment management. Sean Broghammer joined Kent State in March 2020 as an associate vice president for enrollment and held the interim position since July of last year. His position as VP is effective as of the 1st of this month.
Della, Fowler. Let's take it to our currently in Kent, what's happening right now. So it's 40, feels like 38, shouldn't be too bad there. Dew point's at 22. There's a little bit of wind, but not a lot compared to what we usually have, and that's because of the humidity being so high. That wet air kind of stops the wind from blowing. So we'll zoom out a little bit to northeast Ohio to see what is happening over there. So Cleveland, Ashtabula, Sandusky, right on the lake, a little cooler because of that lake water. Then we got some upper 30s down and over here, which is going to be a beautiful and cool night. Something to note is that Worcester is on a river flood warning. So we'll look at that a little bit later in the show. But right now, all of Ohio, we're sitting at lower 30s, Lima and Akron. But everywhere else, it's upper 40s. So it should be really, really nice tonight so far. That's it for weather for now, but I will catch you later in the show for some upcoming weather next week.
Thanks for that report, Della. Now our diversity ambassador, Raygene English, is joining us on this International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day to you.
Happy International Women's Day, Maddy.
Thank you.
That's right. The Women's Center hosted a panel discussion today about women's impact on our history and society. Raygene, what did you learn?
So, that's right. It is International Women's Day. I went out on campus to Q and the Student Center today to see what events were happening. Take a look.
And I'm not even thinking.
Bye.
For Kent State International Women's Day, they held a panel celebrating all women from all different cultures, talking about what it means to be a woman in their culture.
Because reading and education, we can write.
What better way to celebrate International Women's Day than with a flower and a cookie? They also have International Trivia Night on Friday from 5 to 7.
I am so excited that we're celebrating women. It's amazing because, I look at around us and women make things happen. Women are in front making things happen and they're in the back.
There's many opportunities all month long to join in on all the fun events for Women's History Month and to volunteer at the Women's Center. For TV2 News, I'm Raygene English.
Gas prices at a record high, and they could continue to climb. More on the price you'll pay at the pump.
States across the country are recommending vaccines for healthy children. Why Florida is the first state not to.
Can you consent with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now.
No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite,
Unearth hidden passion.
Mom will have a good time.
Plant seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic.
Change the writing on the wall, writing on the wall.
One book can make a difference. One book can inspire a child. One book can be the first thing that helps to change a life.
People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Welcome back. Potholes of different shapes and sizes are popping up all over Portage County.
That's right. The city of Kent is working on repairing the potholes as quickly as possible, but not as quickly as some may hope. Our reporter, Gabby Jonas, has more on the issue. Hi, Gabby.
Hi, guys. With the cold weather coming and going, I talked to Kent's Deputy Service Director, Jim Bowling. He talked about how the city plans to combat its pothole problem and how to avoid the issue with what comes with it. Take a look. For some students on Kent's campus, hitting potholes has created serious issues.
I've hit one really hard and I thought I popped my tire, but luckily I didn't. But that's probably the worst experience I've had. It's hard to avoid them because some streets are just full of potholes.
Though these conditions are frustrating to many, the city of Kent is putting workers out there to get the job done.
Usually we wait till after the snowstorm stops because that's usually when they come about. And then after crews are done plowing, we'll send a 4-man crew out and they will fill the potholes with asphalt.
But with cold and wet weather, patching up every gash in the road takes time, especially during snowstorms, working in between each one that comes and goes.
At about this time of year where it's cold and then warms up, it would be early winter and late winter. We get the most of them.
Costs of these repairs can be more expensive to pay its workers rather than the materials itself, also added to the city's problem. Now, although Portage County is trying to help the potholes like the ones you see here in Kent, there are still negative effects that happen to our cars that are more than just a bumpy ride.
Today's cars are made a little bit more lightweight for fuel economy, so it is a little bit more of a concern. Back in the old days, and like in the 50s when everything was a tank, they could probably take a few more hits, but the ones now that are a little bit more defined and a little bit more lightweight, you have to be a little bit more careful.
Recognizing which parts of a car are most affected by potholes can not only save a driver from breaking the bank, but even saving someone's life.
Shocks and your struts, those are meant to, again, to hold the wheel down, to give you stability. So if those components get worn, you may not notice it during normal driving conditions, but if you had an emergency situation, it's going to be worn and more floaty, more like a boat. Broken or something like that, it could be catastrophic.
But with warm weather right around the corner, students can expect more repairs and less bumps.
This summer, they'll have a crew that goes out, they'll mill out the pavement, a larger area, and actually put down and roll in asphalt so that it can be more permanent repair.
And if you see a pothole,
you could just call the service department at 330-678-8105.
if you encounter a pothole in the city of Kent, you can also visit the city's website and follow to the citizen request page. There you can file a pothole report. For TV2 News, I'm Gabby Jonas.
Thanks, Gabby. Gas prices hit a new high in the U.S. today as conflict continues to escalate in Ukraine. The average price of a gallon of regular gasoline hit $4.17 today, surpassing the previous high from 2008 of $4.11. The average represents an increase of about 77 cents from a month ago, including a 55-cent difference in the past week.
Energy giant Shell is no longer buying Russian oil or gas. The company says it will immediately break off all ties, including the purchasing of Russia's crude oil. Shell also plans on shutting down any of their gas stations in Russia. This comes after the company faced criticism for buying a cargo of Russian crude oil last week. The CEO apologized for the purchase, saying all remaining profits will go to the support of Ukraine.
Today, I'm announcing the United States is targeting the main artery of Russia's economy. We're banning all imports of Russian oil and gas and energy. That means Russian oil will no longer be acceptable at U.S. ports, and the American people will deal another powerful blow to Putin's war machine.
President Biden announced today a ban on Russian oil, natural gas, and coal imports to the U.S., a move that could lead to even higher gas prices at home. Russia provides only about 8% of oil imports in the U.S., but as inflation rises at its fastest pace in 40 years, consumers could see even more historic hikes at the pump.
After more than 200 failed attempts to outlaw lynching, Congress is finally succeeding in taking the long overdue action by passing the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act. Hallelujah, it's long overdue.
The Senate unanimously passed the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act yesterday, criminalizing lynching and making the act punishable by up to 30 years in prison.
The bill is named for the 14-year-old boy from Chicago who was lynched while visiting family in Mississippi in 1955. Under the bill, a crime can be prosecuted as a lynching when a hate crime results in death or injury. The bill now moves to the desk of President Biden to be signed into law.
In defiance of guidance from the nation's top infectious disease experts, Florida Surgeon General Josh Ladapo announced yesterday that the state will be the first in the nation not to recommend the COVID-19 vaccine to healthy children. Governor Ron DeSantis selected a group of health experts who ruled following a roundtable discussion that the health benefits do not outweigh the risks for children. The CDC recommends anyone age 5 or older gets the vaccine. And more controversial legislation in Florida, the state's Senate passed the Parental Rights in Education bill today, more commonly known as the Don't Say Gay bill. The measure aims to limit discussions of sexual orientation and gender identity in schools, a move that LGBTQ rights activists say is dangerous to the safety of LGBTQ+ students. If Governor DeSantis signs the bill into law, it would give parents the option to sue teachers or staff if they hold classroom discussions about gender identity or sexual orientation.
6 teenagers are charged with murder after a drive-by shooting near a high school in Iowa earlier today. A 15-year-old was killed and 2 other teens were wounded with life-threatening injuries. Des Moines police say suspects are currently in custody and charged with first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. No names have been released, and the police say the 15-year-old was likely the intended target of the shooting.
Hello again, Portage County. Let's kick it to our live radar here first. So, like I said, we have a system coming in from the south, blowing towards the northeast, hitting northeast Ohio and Pittsburgh and our kind of area here. That is what put Worcester on their little flood warning, but there's no reason to worry. It's going to be okay. It's nothing too big that people need to freak out about. Let's check out now our forecast for Fake Patty's Day. So this, I've heard, is a big holiday in Kent. So it's exciting to hear that our weather won't be too bad, I guess I would say. It is possible that it could rain and snow on Saturday. So 40% chance of rain or snow depending on how cold it is that day. 21 degrees is what people are predicting, but if it is around that 21-degree area, we'll probably see snow. If it's a little warmer, we'll be better in luck for some rain. So you might have to move your plants inside, but that's okay. What's good about this weather coming up is we will not be freezing for as long as it normally would be in earlier winter. So 60% chance of snow tomorrow. Get your boots out and coat. Be prepared. But the good news is the temperatures will not be something to worry about. So although it might snow, this high of 45, low of 26 means it won't stay there for a while. Partly cloudy Thursday, possible rain. Saturday and Sunday in the weekend, we already talked about those lows there are why we will most likely be seeing snow. Then into next week, we got some clouds and some rain happening. So it shouldn't be too bad all around, but that's what I have for today. Have a good night, Portage County.
Thank you, Della. A former Springfield Schools administrator will serve more than 12 years in prison after being found guilty of coercion of a minor. Bradley Willem Bune of Uniontown previously served as the Springfield Local School District's former Director for Special Services. He was arrested in April 2021 after he tried to meet with an 8-year-old girl for sex. He was instead apprehended by an undercover FBI agent. He will serve 151 months in prison, followed by 10 years of supervised release.
Bowling Green State University hired a hazing prevention coordinator, allowing students to more easily report hazing. This comes after 20-year-old Stone Foltz died at the university after an alleged hazing ritual. His death spurred many changes at Bowling Green and Ohio as a whole, including state laws treating hazing as a higher criminal offense. The fraternity involved was expelled from campus, and 7 of the members and another man have been charged. 2 of them pleaded guilty.
The Cavs are in Indianapolis tonight to take on the Pacers. I'll have your preview after the break.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Being a dad can be tough.
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now. But it's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Abreu. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
And now,
your TV2 Sports Report.
How's it hanging, Portage County? I'm Gabe Collura with your TV2 Sports Report. There isn't much going on in the world of Kent State sports, but the gymnastics team received a nice honor this week. We'll start in the world of gymnastics. Rachel DeCavich was named MAC Gymnast of the Week. DeCavich posted impressive scores at Ohio State and versus EMU last weekend. She especially shined on beam, where she totaled consecutive scores of 9.875. The Cavs are visiting the Pacers tonight at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The biggest story is that the Cavs will be without the services of Jarrett Allen for the foreseeable future following a fractured finger on his left hand sustained in Sunday's matchup with the Raptors. Cleveland is going to need some guys to step up in his absence, and I'm looking to Lauri Markkanen tonight to bring some fire back. The Cavs are in need of a win tonight to create some separation between them and the play-in cutoff. They currently sit at 6 in the East. Tip-off is at 7, and you can catch the action on Valley Sports. And an absolute bombshell dropped in the NFL today around 2 p.m. Russell Wilson has been traded to the Denver Broncos, pending a physical and his approval. Denver has agreed to send 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, 1 fifth-round pick, Drew Lock, Shelby Harris, and Noah Fant to Seattle in exchange for Russell Wilson and a 4th-round pick. Russell Wilson has played his entire 10-year career with the Seahawks, and he is a 9-time Pro Bowler and a 1-time Super Bowl champion, and he also won the 2020 Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. It's safe to say Denver's finally gotten their guy. Russell Wilson wasn't the only news in the NFL quarterback carousel today. Aaron Rodgers decided to re-up with the Green Bay Packers on a deal to be determined at a later date per Pat McAfee. Ian Rappaport originally reported that the deal would make Rodgers the highest paid player in NFL history, though that has not been confirmed. Rodgers has spent his entire 17-year career with the Packers and has led them to 1 Super Bowl title. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's your favorite time Tuesday night, my play of the night. Furman's got a lead by 2, but David Jean-Baptiste for the win sends Chattanooga to the big dance. You're not going to see anything more impressive than that. I mean, David Jean-Baptiste pulling up from the logo. Look at this. Chattanooga's going dancing. That ruined Furman's first chance at a berth in the NCAA tournament since 1980. Look for Chattanooga to maybe get an upset in the first round. Well, that's all I've got for sports tonight. I've been Gabe Collura. Keep it real, Portage County.
This International Women's Day, hear how women in Ukraine are doing their part to fight for their loved ones.
Paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us. More people are cheating to beat the popular online game Wordle, particularly in the state of New Hampshire. A study by Wordfinder X looked at Google search trends for the answer to Wordle's daily puzzle. It found that the words players cheated on the most were swill and aroma. The study also found New Hampshire had more Wordle cheaters than any other state. Rhode Island and Vermont were tied for second place. The site says cheating nearly tripled since the New York Times bought the game in January when the game went viral.
This International Women's Day, women in Ukraine are showing their strength and courage by gathering supplies for those fighting to defend against Russian forces. About 100 women have volunteered through a group called Angel on Your Shoulder to pack boxes with medicine, toiletries, prepackaged food, and other donated goods and send them to soldiers on the front lines. Many of the women have family members who are fighting in the war and say they wanted to join in the fight to protect their country and their loved ones. That is very powerful. Now, back here in Kent, the Women's Center has some great events going on this International Women's Day. As we speak, their International Women's Day event is happening in the Center for Undergraduate Excellence, the Q. They have an event on Thursday called Let's Talk Lunch, which is a peer-facilitated discussion by their interns on gender equity. And then another event on Friday, Film Friday, joining the LGBTQ Center for a film screening with a spotlight on LGBTQ figures with an accompanying discussion. Are there any, can you think off the top of your head, what kind of movies do you think they're showing? Any women's history movies you can think of?
Oh.
Favorite women-led movie? My favorite women-led movie, is it Ocean's 8 with Rihanna?
Oh, yeah.
That's a great
no,
movie.
That is a good movie.
Yeah.
The one that popped into my head most recently was, I think it was just called Harriet, but it was about Harriet Tubman.
Yes, with Cynthia Erivo. She was brilliant. She's nominated for an Oscar for that. Are there any women that you want to shout out on this International Women's Day?
As cliche as it's going to sound, of course, my mother.
Yeah, I have to shout out my mother as well, my twin sister Livy, my Aunt Amy, and I have so many strong female role models in my life. I've been very lucky to get to watch so many incredible women pioneer in so many different ways in different industries. My mom's a teacher. She has taught me everything I know about everything I know. So she's the greatest woman in the world.
And
I hate to make that claim.
In the greatest transition between women's history and Wordle, I'm sure none of those women would ever cheat on the Wordle.
I don't cheat on the Wordle. I can't imagine cheating on the Wordle. I take it so seriously every day.
I have too much pride.
Every day I do the Wordle and I do the New York Times Mini, and I can't even fathom cheating. I wouldn't do it. That wraps up our show tonight. As always, thank you for spending your Tuesday evening with us.
For up-to-the-minute coverage when we're off the air, be sure to check out the newly redesigned KentWired.com and connect with us on socials at KentWired. I'm Christopher Abreu.
And I'm Maddy Haberberger. Happy International Women's Day, and have a great night, Portage County.
The Agenda, Thursday nights at 9 at KentWired.com. Also check out our YouTube at youtube.com/TheAgendaTV2.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money.
Good morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper? You better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop? You got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused. Fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchool.com.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.